let's take a look at these last few questions from solutions. Alright, so for 12 and 13, I have a reading passage again. And in 12, it says, state in terms of freezing point why sodium chloride is part of the mixture put on icy roads. Well, sodium chloride solution is going to have a lower freezing point than just water by itself. That goes back to the other question before. You know the freezing point of water is 0, but freezing point with something dissolved in it, freezing point is less. That's all you're looking for there. In question 13, explain in terms of composition by mass why the mixture from which the analyzed sample was, and of course, what did I do? I drew right over what I was trying to read. The sample was taken, should not be used on the roads of the town. Well, I got to go back and read the reading passage and take a look at paragraph 2. One New York town requires that the mixture of sand and salt used on the residential roads should contain 25% or less sodium chloride by mass. Alright. And a 10-gram sample of the mixture of sand and sodium chloride was analyzed, and it contains 3.3 grams of sodium chloride. Well, if the question is telling you to explain why the mixture should not be used, my guess would be that it's got to be higher than 25%. But let's check it out. If we're dealing with composition by mass, here is my equation, right? It's the mass of the part over the mass of the whole thing times 100. And the part here, so let me do this, percent is the mass of the part over the mass of the whole thing times 100. So the part is my 3.3 grams, and the whole thing was a 10-gram sample times 100. I go ahead and I do the math, and I get 33% sodium chloride in the sample. It was supposed to be 25% or less. So that's it. 33% is too high. Let's move on to 14. 14, I have, again, a reading passage and an equation, and we're asked to identify the compound produced that is insoluble in water. Well, for this last question here, I have only two possibilities. It's one of the two products. So I have PbI2, and the other product was the NaNO3. And we're looking for what's insoluble in water. Well, when I'm looking for something to be soluble or insoluble in water, I'm looking at reference table F. And the way that you deal with this, we had PbI2 and NaNO3. You take these salts in parts, and then you find them on reference table F. So we'll start with the lead. It's actually lead 2, and I take a look. Ions that form soluble compounds. The first column, it's not there. Exceptions, there are exception here for lead. And sure enough, that's with the iodide ion, so that would be this equation. So exception means if this is soluble, exception means it's insoluble. So there's my answer. But let's check sodium nitrate anyway. I look for Na, and sure enough, I find it already. Group 1 ions, doesn't matter what they're bonded with, they're all soluble in water. So the answer for 14 was PbI2. Check out more videos, do more questions, and good luck.